it's Ears Up in Depth. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jason, and with me, as always, is Jeremy, a man who is so lovely, I want to shrink him down and put him in my pocket.
Wow, that would be great. I could be in your pocket.
My front pocket, like my shirt pocket. My shirt pocket. Don't worry.
I was going to ask which one.
Well, if I didn't have a shirt pocket, I would make sure my pockets and my shorts were sewn up first. And then, I don't want
or
to scare
just get
you.
like that belt with the pockets that hang off.
A fanny pack. I would honestly, if you were that small, I would buy you a fanny pack. I'd put a little couch in there, a little bed. I would tuck you in, and I would go on Splash Mountain.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Doesn't it?
And weird.
Yeah. Well.
It's a little distressing to hear that, actually. But
actually, now I'm highly upset about this.
Yeah. Good turn.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. We have a couple news stories to talk to you about. I guess some of them are breaking news. I don't know. But we like to go in depth into this show and to figure out what's going on in Disneyland, Disney World, and sometimes beyond, which is kind of always fun. Jeremy, you are back home. You are in New Jersey right now, just to update everybody.
I'm back home in New Jersey.
Nice.
That's where that's all there is to it.
Yeah, okay.
Cold and rainy, but I'm here reporting.
Well, do you miss Florida? That's the big question I'm weighing heavily on everybody's mind. You're a recent Florida man transfer, and how do you feel now coming back to places that have weather?
Well, I'm a little annoyed that it's so cold and rainy here, but here's the thing. I can't remember if I mentioned this to you or not, but when you're in Disney World, or when you're in Florida, Central Florida especially, everything revolves around Disney World. So like I'm new there, so I often have the GPS on in the car, even if I'm going to like Target.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you were to put the GPS on in your car, it would say, take I-5 towards San Francisco, for example, right?
Sure.
My GPS
Let's say that's right.
Says take I-192 towards Epcot. Everything is like towards, it's like you're always merge on to Route 4 south towards Magic Kingdom.
Oh, geez.
So even the most mundane activities are sprinkled with magic.
That is kind of, what am I trying to say? I would imagine that Disney sort of lobbied for that. Or maybe Florida gave it to them because that was the biggest landmark in Central Florida. But that is great brand immersion.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like you just forget. You're like, oh, I'm going to Home Depot, but then they're telling you about Animal Kingdom on the way.
When you go into these stores, are they playing like Disney music at all? Like on the radio? Or is it just like the classic soft rock from the 70s you get at the Home Depots out here?
It's the same as the regular Home Depot, but most stores there have souvenirs.
Oh my!
So
goodness.
like you walk into Walmart and it's like walking into World of Disney. Only, I mean, not the same, obviously exact same merchandise, but every place is like, it's like garden section, housewares, souvenir section, because they're built all around these parks. Everyone's capitalizing on it.
Wow. I feel like that's
I don't know if it's like that in Anaheim.
It is. Yeah, it is. Well, it depends. There's definitely a radius. So like the CVS down the street has a pretty like an aisle of that kind of stuff, like beach towels and crap like that. Like, what do you? Yeah, I'm gonna buy a beat. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of like those little tchotchke, souvenir shops that almost look like half cigarette store and half souvenir shop. Where you can also buy Dusty Top ramen. It's weird.
Yeah, I've definitely bought a plush at a 7-Eleven on Catella before.
Yeah. Same, brother. Before we get to our news, though, speaking of buying stuff, the 21st Amendment's iconic Hell or High Water Metal wheat beer has been a summertime favorite since they started making it in 2000 at their San Francisco South of Market brew pub. The brewers at the 21st Amendment decided to have some fun and with a nod to the fall season, developed their latest beer, Hell or High Mango. Hell or High Mango is made with real fruit and is sweet, slightly tart with tropical floral flavors and aromas. It's a perfect beer to enjoy during this fall time of year as the colors and the seasons finally change. Jeremy, it's finally cold outside here. I'm not sweating.
Is it cold there?
Yes, it's finally cold. Are
the fires gone?
No. Well, the fires up here are mostly gone. Now they're just raging in Orange County, of all places, down in L.A. So it's like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot. We're just still on fire, man. We're just still on fire. But
Yeah.
at least it's cold. But the problem is it's cold and now dry. Like our humidity is like 16, 11%. And it's like, so my car, this is a boring story, so I won't tell you the whole thing. But my car broke down the other day. And I have a friend who's a mechanic in the next town over. So I got it going and drove it over to him. And he's like, oh, I don't have the part, but so we got to go to the part store. We go to Napa Auto Parts. And I'm like, he's like, get in the car. I'm like, I had my mask on, of course. And I'm like, it's this really cool mask. And it has like a cool filter in it. And I'm like, I'm uncomfortable, Alan. I'm uncomfortable. And he's like, why? And so I told him, I was like, because I'm insane. I'm an insane person. And he didn't have his mask on, but we had the windows down. And then he put his mask on like a minute later. And I was talking to him about it. I was like, what's your like level with this? And he goes, I'll do whatever anybody else is around me is doing. He's like, I don't care. But if you're uncomfortable with it, I'll put my mask on. I'm like, okay. But this is like definitely the most the most exposure I've had to anybody that hadn't been quarantining for 2 weeks. It was very bizarre. And then I pretended that I got a phone call when we showed up to the auto parts store so he went inside.
You are too much.
I know, man. But
well, you know what? Baby steps. I'm glad that you did that. You were smart. You had the windows down.
Windows down, mask on all the time, 100%. So anyway, the point of the story is like the next day, it sort of like we got cold outside. It really dried up. My throat starts itching. I start coughing. My throat's scratchy. Like it's just now feeling better. And I'm like, oh shit, great. There we go. He's asymptomatic, and now I have to. And it's a whole thing, man. Anyway,
and now you are symptomatic. You just have a little dry scratch.
I know, but anyway. Behind all the great mango flavor of Hell or High Mango is a wonderful wheat beer with its biscuity, light bready notes, and at a mere 4.9% ABV is even more enjoyable. Hell or High Mango is available across the country wherever 21st Amendment beer is sold. And I'm seeing a lot of people actually online and writing into the show that are finding Hell or High Watermelon, which is a great beer, and Hell or High Mango, and all the 21st Amendment beers. So please check them out. They support the show, and it's good beer too. If you're a beer fan.
I'll tell you this. I was in Disney World last week with Eric from the Supreme Resort because they were down.
Oh, nice.
So I had dinner with Eric and Brandy twice last week. It was an absolute delight. But Eric, as you know, lives in Colorado. And he was telling me that he can get 21st Amendment.
Nice. Colorado, another state that's on fire.
So there you go. Yes, they are, he said.
Let's go.
They are on fire.
All right, Jared. Hey, let's get into some news. I would say some good news, but, knowing us, it's probably not.
No.
Yeah.
We're pretty much the wet mops of Disney news.
That's true. You want to go first? Why don't you go first? I've been talking a little too much.
I'll start it off. Yeah, we want to save that dry, scratchy throat of yours.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sad to report that Disneyland Paris has the dubious distinction of being the second Disney resort on the globe to reclose.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, it's COVID correct. Disneyland Paris tonight said a second farewell to guests in order to comply with sweeping new restrictions enacted by French President Emmanuel Macron in a renewed effort to gain control over coronavirus infections that have recently been spiking again in countries across Europe. New restrictions in France include the closure of various non-essential businesses, bars, and restaurants, and is expected to end no earlier than December 1st, so a little bit over a month. Disneyland Paris is taking new reservations starting December 19th.
Wow. That is very, I don't know, liberal of them, I guess. It's a short expectation.
Well,
hopefully they can get it under control. Hopefully people in Paris and France can mask up and stay home and kind of like squash everything a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think December 1st is the earliest, so they are being a bit cautious. But I'm also assuming you can't just flick a switch and reopen the park. I'm sure it takes a few days to kind of get things back. You know, it's not like it just turns on.
Right.
You know, you got to start it up. So they're taking reservations December 19th through January 3rd, but they've already announced the park will close again following the Christmas holiday for a full month, a little over a month, from January 4th to February 12th, which is typically the lowest attendance season in Disneyland Paris anyway. So they're just going to close it. Let's not.
That makes sense.
Faff around.
No, never do.
France joined several other European nations in new restrictions, including the Republic of Ireland, which has added the unique measure of enforcing a 5-kilometer limit on the distance people can travel from their homes, along with the closure of retail stores and restaurants and bars for a minimum of 4 weeks. This is the latest in a string of blows to the Walt Disney Company that earlier this week laid off hundreds more entertainment professionals from the Walt Disney World Resort that has left many time-honored shows with uncertain futures, including the venerable Hoop-de-Doo Review dinner show at Disney's Fort Wilderness Lodge, which holds the distinction of being the longest-running dinner show in history.
Wow.
Not just at Disney World.
Right.
In
the
our
entirety
world
of written history.
Yeah, in the universe. There isn't a longer one on Mars.
That's true.
The Walt Disney Company has seen a revenue drop this year of more than $6 billion. That's billion with a B. One glimmer of hope. Most of the shows that were affected by the layoffs are still listed on Disney's website simply as temporarily unavailable. So it's possible that they will rehire when the time is right. But for now, it's looking very slim down there. It's entertainment taking a big hit, and Disneyland Paris is closed.
Man.
So
that's crazy, man. It's that second wave or third wave. I don't even know anymore. It just is. Well,
we're just surfing the waves over and over.
That's right. Yeah, you're talking about things closing and reopening and closing again or whatever. This is sort of on the same line, but it's a little more positive. Ever since Downtown Disney opened up for business this summer, I've personally been ranting and raving and probably crying over the fact that both parks at Disneyland Resort are still closed. Pound for pound, there are more shopping experiences than attractions in the Disneyland Resort. I guess. I don't really know, but it's a fair assumption, I feel. It was always strange to me how they could open an entire shopping district and not the main streets of the most beloved park in the world in DCA. Well, it seems like Bob Paycheck is listening to my advice because it was announced this past Friday that Buena Vista Street in DCA will be reopening for your shopping experiences. This would explain why less cast members were cut from DCA over Disneyland proper, and while no official date has been given for the opening, Disney has just kept it at, quote, later in November. So
okay. Yeah, I was wondering what the date was. I couldn't find that anywhere.
Yeah, that's why it's just late November. This is what it is. On Buena Vista Street, guests will look forward to, quote, finding even more places to enjoy a memorable meal or a fun shopping excursion. The writing is so awful on these stupid press releases. Stop it.
What would you say?
I would
Let's
say...
brainstorm.
I don't know. On Buena Vista Street, guests can, quote, find even more places to find even more places. We welcome guests back to their familiar whatever. I would make it more of a welcoming back thing, even though that sort of puts the focus on they were closed, but got newsflash, everybody knows you're closed. So now it's a more of a celebratory, hey, we're happy, we're here to welcome you back to the places where you've shared your memories before. I would pull more nostalgia in rather than...
You're pulling on my heartstrings.
A fun shopping excursion? Shut up!
Right.
Whatever. Open shopping destinations will include Elias and Company, Julius Katz and Sons, and Kingswell Camera Shop, offering an array of Disney-themed exclusives for the holiday season. Food options. I've seen some pictures of the masks that they have. They do look pretty cool. So kudos to them. But
well, those blue ones?
Yeah, the blue ones. I think they're going to do some Christmas-themed ones, too. But I want one with a filter in it, man. I don't know. That's me. One of those filters. That's me.
Sure.
Food options will be Trolley Treats, Fiddler Pfeiffer, and Practical Cafe. Literally have no idea where that is. Carthay Circle Lounge, which apparently is open for outdoor dining, and Smoke Jumpers Grill. Not much detail has been released on what exactly the menus will look like. However, it has been said, at least for Smoke Jumpers, they will have a trimmed-down menu of burgers and craft beer for mobile ordering only. So that's good news for that. Per the park's guidelines, there will be temperature screenings prior to entry, and all guests must wear masks and socially distance, among other new measures. In addition, there will be numerous kiosks set up along the street, presumably with food and beverages. I don't really know what the kiosks are going to be, but I imagine if it's to keep people from congregating inside of a building, maybe there's a couple tchotchkes or something like that. You can, buy off the kiosk, but I don't know. There will
they be like the food and wine festival kiosks?
I would imagine, because I mean, Buena Vista Street is sort of short. It's very shallow. It's a lot like me.
Yeah.
It's a very shallow.
Yes.
Thank you.
But I've always pictured you and Buena Vista Street, just such shallow, worthless.
We're equal.
There's just nothing there. It's all superficial.
From the moment we were created, people were trying to change us. I don't know, but you can like pass on that fountain towards Cars Land, where the food and wine festival stuff usually is. You could definitely line that with some stuff, rope it off right there, and you can sort of control the crowds in that way, because DCA does have a lot more. DCA is sort of more like Disney World parks, where there's a lot of walking room.
Yeah.
Not so much Disneyland, but
anyway. And also you can charge people a high margin for charge people $9-10 for a cup of beer.
Well,
I mean, if you need cash,
it's already It's already $11 for a cup of beer. Like it's already high. They've already priced me out of beer even last year. So I'm not trying to. I don't need that. I don't need beer that bad. But you're right. You definitely can, unless it's 21st Amendment. Then I will. I don't know.
You'll pay 11 for a 21st Amendment?
I'll pay 15.
Oh, wow. What a testimonial.
Thanks. There will be zero cost to enter Buena Vista Street in order to access the coming shopping wonderland, in case you were concerned that Disney would get you on both ends. This is one rare occurrence where they're not going to. So that's good. It's going to be free to enter. And apparently, like right now, you can do like that backlot shopping where you enter through the employee entrance. You don't, you know what I mean? So to get to Buena Vista Street, I think it's going to be that same area. It was hard to find specifics. You're not going to be entering through the main gates, which I sort of don't understand why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like just open the main gates. Just open it. There's why people want that feeling to come through the gate. They want that if they're gonna go anyways, which I'm not saying anybody should do, but if you want to do it, you want the full experience. You want the full English.
I want the full English. You sound like Elsa.
I sound like.
Do you know what
Frozen?
I'm referencing?
No.
When she says, "Tell the guards to open up the gates," you were like, "Open the gates! Open the gates!" That's what I saw. That's what I connected with.
I appreciate it.
I think a protester, when they were doing the reopen Disneyland thing, had that on their sign.
Yes, they did. And I was like, "Oh, would you get that off Pinterest?"
I loved it.
In announcing this wild turn of events, I'm calling the Jason factor, because it's very clearly me, right? I'm influencing. I said this, and so therefore it's happening. Therefore, people listen to me.
Yes, I forgot about that.
The Disneyland Facebook account made a pretty embarrassing error that quickly made the rounds on Twitter last week. I don't know if you saw this, Jeremy. But since most of the guest services team was laid off, which social media is wrapped up in, social media is part of guest services.
Okay.
The managers have been creating all the posts you see on Twitter and Facebook and everything. It's like the higher ups, which is also why they just sort of bland and without any personality. But that's a different rant. Like, it's like park out or downtown Disney open at 8 a.m. Like, that's it. There's no, what'd you say, zhuzh?
You're not judging it.
Yeah, you're not judging it. They're just like, who cares?
Yeah, for park hours, I don't want anything else.
Well,
just
but
give
it's
me
like
the straight
Like
dope.
we look forward to seeing just something extra, a little bow on top of that. You know what I mean? But like, whatever. Personally, for me, I don't even want to see the park hours. I don't even care. If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna assume you're open at 8. If not, I'm gonna go look. But that's just me. Whatever. Apparently, right after posting the Disney Parks blog announcing the opening of Buena Vista Street, the manager of the Facebook account forgot to switch accounts from Disneyland to their own personal account and proceeded to make the following comment on their own post. Quote, "Do what Knott's is doing, a food festival." So it's the Disneyland Facebook page posted the Disney Parks blog. And then right underneath it, as a comment of their own page, Disneyland is shown saying, "Do what Knott's is doing, a food festival."
No. This happened.
This happened. I have screenshots.
You guys, this is the problem.
The post was taken down shortly thereafter, but the damage was done, man. And it's like, so this person, they're not using their own Facebook account, right, to post on a work thing to like rile up. Basically, you're sticking it back to your company, right? Like, why aren't we doing this food festival thing like Knott's Berry Farm is doing? So I wonder if they have a burner Facebook account where they just made up a thing so they can do this kind of stuff and comment on it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
They just didn't switch it.
This sent chills down my spine.
It is.
I'm so scared.
I've done it like on a couple other jobs that I have, but they're like 11,000 people on these pages. It's not Disneyland, you know what I mean? And someone called them out on it too. Like, well, looks like a manager forgot to switch their accounts back. Can you imagine how embarrassing?
It's so awful. I don't like it.
So there you go, Jeremy. The Disneyland Resort is slowly opening up. The only question that remains in the mind of this reporter is why they weren't doing this in the first place instead of digging their heels in with Newsom. Why the all or nothing attitude? And that's, from being online and whatever, that's kind of what's pissing off a lot of CMs right now. It's like, you were doing layoffs, you were using us as a shield, as a fulcrum rather against the state to open up. It's all or nothing, but you could have been doing this the entire time. Why weren't you doing this to try to save some of our jobs? But
I thought that Newsom allowed them to do even this. I didn't realize that they always had this ability.
I don't know, and I don't think anybody really knows. But I'm just saying, like, that's my question to the Disney Resort if they would ever respond to me. It's like, why wasn't this an option from the beginning? I know how.
Stop using people as fulcrum.
That's right. I know that how they're getting around some of these rules or how they're allowing to open. They're saying that the Buena Vista Street is an extension of the downtown Disney shopping district, like reclassifying it or something. I don't know. It's a smart move. I think that's cool. Like I said, that's what we've been saying here for a long time. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. It's a little weird, but I think people are going to like it. So look forward to that at some point later November.
Do they enforce I'm sure that there must be a maximum number of people that even downtown Disney can handle, right? Do they enforce a maximum?
Yeah.
Okay. So now will that stay the same and they're just opening up more space, or are they going to allow more people in?
That's another good question. I don't know.
Well, we have to make a list of questions for Disneyland. Why are you using people as fulcrums? How many people are you letting in? A lot of questions.
A lot of questions, man.
Jason, people cannot stop showing up at Disney World packing heat.
Oh, what do you mean metaphorically or?
Strapping a gat. We've talked about this before.
That's true. Got the Draco on lock, dude.
And actually, since we've talked about this before, I do want to just take a slight diversion, because when I was writing this up and I was thinking about packing heat and strapping gats, I thought, well, what other terms are there for carrying a gun that I don't know?
Oh, a 1,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went to the CarolinaShootersClub.com and I found some. Do you want to know what they are?
That's the most Jeremy thing. Well, so I went to the Carolina Shooters Club. Tell me, my mind immediately goes to like hip hop references. So I'm very curious to see if the Carolina Shooters Club has like tooled up, for example. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. You could make a page, Jason's page of gun metaphors.
Yeah, good.
Are they? Is that metaphor? I don't know if that's really a metaphor. I don't know what that is.
Simile?
Slang term.
Slang. There you go.
Walking the dog.
I've never heard that, and it's in fact ridiculous because it's anything. It's literally walking the dog, or it's a yo-yo trick. Imagine if like you're online and you're fighting with someone, and someone's like, "I'll walk my dog by your house." And you're like, "I don't care. I yo-yo also," and then they shoot up your house. You can get into some serious trouble with that. It's confusing. Go ahead.
Or you're just like at an outdoor cafe and someone walks by and you're like, I think he's walking a dog.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't see it. Like your friend's like, what are you talking about? I don't see a dog. No.
Well, I feel like that's why no one ever messed with the Smothers Brothers, because everyone just thought they were tooled up all the time. In fact, they were just doing yo-yo tricks.
Here's one, hanging out with Roscoe. I don't know what that means.
A Roscoe, that's an old, I know that's an old term for a gun.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But hanging out with Roscoe, that's a little ridiculous. It's like someone wrote it in like a party hosting book. Before you hang out with Roscoe. Yeah.
Packing your pocket heater.
That's stupid.
Then there's just holding.
Yep, you're holding. But that's
I'm holding.
For me as California boy, holding is more in reference of if you got pot.
It did say this could also be used for having other illegal things on you.
Oh, okay.
So it's more of an umbrella term, really.
Yeah.
Walking heavy.
I like that heavy. One. Okay.
He comes in here walking heavy.
And I told him, I'm a felon. I can't have that kind of weight.
I can't be around that.
Yeah. But see,
bringing a burner.
Bringing the burner. Okay, yeah, heater, burner. Yeah.
Moosed.
Moosed. I'm moosed.
Using it in a sentence. That lady showed up at Disney World moosed.
It sounds either drunk or, I don't know.
I think that's if like you're in Canada with a musket and you're shooting moose.
It's a blunderbuss.
Yeah. And then there's one more, and this is one I added to the list.
Okay.
Making your own luck.
Is that from a movie? Did you get that from a movie somewhere?
Guess which movie it's from,
I
Jason.
knew it was. Oh, what movie? I have no idea.
Titanic.
Oh, you God.
A real man makes his own luck, and then he brandishes his gun.
You know what you should do is come up with a drink for the next secret show and call it Making Your Own Luck and make it off of that somewhere, please.
Okay, that's happening. Making your own luck. That's a drink.
All right.
Orange County Sheriff's Office responded when Marcia Temple, 27 of Lithonia, Georgia, was spotted by a hospital employee performing temperature checks at the Magic Kingdom security checkpoint as she was putting her purse behind a nearby planter, which seemed a little odd.
Sure.
The employee notified Disney security, who in turn contacted nearby Orange County deputy Nadia Engwall. So there's police on site at Disney World. So they've got their own security, but there's always some police like near. Engwall found a pink purse containing a heater. A 9mm what?
Nothing.
A 9mm gun that was loaded with 10 bullets, including one in the chamber.
Oh my gosh. So it's a 10+1. That's what we call it.
Oh, the old don't say. As the deputy spotted the gun in the purse, Marcia Temple approached and said, "Ma'am, that's mine." When asked why she would bring a gun to Walt Disney World, Temple responded, "I had told my son to hold it for me and stand right here while she went to get her brother to take the purse and gun back to the car. Her son is 6."
Okay.
So she's blamed it. It's a kid's fault. I told him to watch the gun.
Yeah, he's strapped up already. Okay. Probably not the first time. I mean, if you're that loose with your firearm possession, you're probably asking your kid to hold it more than once.
I'm sure that kid has moosed many times for her.
That's right. He has a dog walking business.
Temple does not have a concealed weapon permit for Florida or her home state of Georgia. She was arrested and banned from the Walt Disney World property. I just don't understand, I mean, obviously this chick's up to no good, but it's a really weird shell game she was trying to say she was playing. I was going to put the purse with the loaded gun behind the planter so I could tell my brother to go take. First of all, where is this brother? He never turned up.
Right. And
then also, you're not that the temperature checks at Magic Kingdom screening aren't that far from where you park. It's maybe a 10-minute walk. Just if you have a gun if you are really sincere and you're going to bring the gun back, because whoa, I didn't realize my loaded gun's here. You could just walk it back. I've walked back because I forgot, I forgot my sunglasses. I didn't need to go hide behind a planter and wait for my brother. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a good? That's not a good analogy, but
It's
that's
fine,
why
man.
I think she's playing a weird shell game. Something's up. She's up to no good, but now she can't come back. So that's what's happening. And this is the third gun incident that we know of since Disney World has reopened in July. So July, August, September, October, 3 and 4 months. And there's probably been more, but these are just the ones that have made headlines.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's what's happening there.
Wow. Well, talking about confusion, Jeremy, one point of confusion surrounding the Disney parks amid all this reopening mess is what to do about annual passports. Early on, the parks were issuing rolling credits, and then they started offering refunds if you wanted, or if you wanted to wait things out. Well, you could do that too. And you got caught up in this kerfuffle, right? Where you just said, we'll let it ride. I don't need a refund or anything. I've already paid for it, and who cares?
Yeah, let's just ride it out.
Well, recently, Tokyo Disneyland announced some major changes to their annual passport program, mainly that it was being ended. Up until now, if you wanted to visit that park, you would be placed in a reservation lottery due to the vast number of AP holders trying to get tickets. So one-day tickets or AP, you had to go through the same lottery system. So yes, it seems even the much glorified annual pass holder is nothing but a mere mortal once again in the eyes of Tokyo Disneyland. And once again, it seems that Disney is making some pretty big changes to its operations to ensure that all of its parks weather this COVID storm. Once the current reservations are used up in December of this year, the lottery system will be removed. So I imagine, therefore, it's a first come, first served kind of a thing moving on. The annual passport program will be deleted. Refunds will be issued, and everyone will be on equal footing. Kind of like the end of Fight Club, but with less blood.
Right.
The Tokyo, that just went,
I have never seen.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I've seen Fight Club.
Over the head.
That's where they're fighting in a basement.
That's the
I've
crux.
seen it.
Yeah.
But it's very old.
I mean, yeah, sure.
I'm a little bit
old.
more with the times.
Yeah,
Titanic.
Yeah, Titanic references. I got you, man. I got you, dude. I got you. The Tokyo Disney website notes that an update to the annual pass program will be issued by the end of March 2021. So this is probably more of a pause on the APs than an all-out deletion and removal, which is interesting, I thought, too. So, it seems like just to kind of let other people get tickets equally because the APs were flooding the reservation system, just kill it for now. I don't know. Since Disney World opened to a rocky, very uncrowded start earlier this summer, they probably didn't see the troubles like Tokyo Disneyland has. But as crowds begin to feel safer entering the parks, who knows? Maybe something like this could happen in Walt Disney World or even Disneyland. But let's be honest, Disneyland isn't opening for several months anyway, and it's plenty of time to probably sort out any reservation systems they need to. I do know that recently Disneyland AP holders were sent communications from the annual passport program outlining the issues with reopening and that changes were being looked at. So perhaps instead of the backlog of refunds for passes, because I do know people with APs, some still haven't got the refunds from like 2 months ago. They're just
really?
having a hard time dealing with it. Disneyland might consider a blanket reset, pulling passes for everyone and let folks repurchase at a later date. But I thought it was a really interesting point to sort of examine here. I mean, if you're opening Buena Vista Street, there's no charge to get in there. Why you're paying cast members to just issue refunds all the time? Why are we going through this whole mess? Why not just wipe everybody clean? There's no annual passes anymore. I mean, it's not like you get anything for being an annual pass holder. Or I've been AP for 10 years. It's just a sense of pride. It's just an achievement that in your own mind that you don't, like Disneyland doesn't recognize you one day. You know what I mean? Like on your 10th day, they don't like drop balloons or something like that. So it doesn't matter. So just wipe everybody clean and people can just rebuy. I don't know if they want.
Yeah, I suppose you could do that.
Do you
I don't know. I like the idea of letting it ride because, like, I know I'm gonna get another one eventually, I suppose. But it's interesting because one of the things that you said is that in their reservation system, single day tickets and APs were all mixed up into the same priority.
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah.
So that's not how it works in Florida.
Okay.
So they are capping. There's a number of slots allotted to park tickets, to hotel guests, and then there's another bucket for APs.
Yeah.
So the AP one does cap out. So they're limiting that, and then they'll still sell. You can still buy one-day tickets. So I think I think they've figured that reservation system out. I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding, my perception was that the APs in the beginning were really what was keeping this place afloat, because no one was flying to Florida, so it was locals.
Right, exactly. And it's worth noting that Tokyo Disneyland is run by the Oriental Land Company or something like that. I almost said Oriental Trading Company. That's a very different. That's that
company. Magazine with all the kites and the thing.
Yeah, and like you can buy like 1,000 finger puppets for $4 or something like that, but it takes 6 years to get there. It's just weird. It's like stocking stuff or like stuff for piñatas or whatever. It's just all tchotchke party supply stuff. Oriental
Piñata supply store.
There you go. Let's open one. So they probably don't. They're not up to the same level, or they just didn't care, they didn't know, or they're just doing things differently. But So I mean that is a good point. Where when Disneyland actually opens, hopefully all this stuff is sort of sorted out, anyways. But I would imagine they're going to go with what you're talking about, limiting the APs, in which I guarantee you there'll be a Change.org petition. Online
I just wonder,
within a month after Disneyland opening.
I wonder why Tokyo didn't follow the Disney World model reservation system.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the question that I have, because it's proven, I suppose, or maybe because Disney did. They said even with the lower than expected attendance that they were in the positive profit wise for the first or the quarter that whatever finished right in parks. Yeah. So great. I don't know. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, well, it should.
I won't sleep tonight.
That's all I got, Jer. That's all the news.
Well, those are some good stories, I think.
I think so too, man.
I mean, I would prefer that they were less closures and
more
less
opens.
Weaponry.
Sure. Well, so would I, to be honest with you. But that's not the way things are shaking out right now, man. There's a lot of people still fighting this mask thing.
That's right. It's not our job to pick the news. We just have to report what's happening.
That's right. I am the Walter to your Cronkite.
That's right.
Yeah. Or something like that. I don't know. All right. Well, I think we should get out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Wow, I think this has just been playing on a loop over and over again.
Dude,
it's been playing the entire 40 minutes.
It's just been an hour of that song.
That's good to know that you can just double click on it and it just plays over and over again. I like that. Oh, it's literally selected. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning into the show. You live folks, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'll try to get this episode uploaded tomorrow so you can listen to it again. That'd be fun for everybody. Thank you to the 21st Amendment. Be sure to find 21st Amendment beers wherever you can, wherever you find good craft beer and all that kind of stuff, which is getting a little bit easier now. So that's good. The shipping lanes are opening, I guess, and support everybody that way. And Jeremy, thank you very much. You can listen to Jeremy on SpectraRadio.us.
Yeah, tune in. Disney music all day long.
Hell yeah. And then, of course, all the shows that we do over here at EarzUp-podcast.com. Thanks a lot, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. I'll see you now. The music just faded, so now I have to wait till it ramps up again because you got to come out. You got to end on the up fade, right? You can't just, it's not just a dead air end. Like, bye, and then it's silence. You got to end on music.
Can you edit that in?
Goodbye, Jeremy. Can't you edit that in? I mean, yeah, you're right, but no, I can't because you would hear all the music underneath because it mixes down to one channel.
Oh, that recorder! Once again.
Look, man.
I love that recorder. You know.
So we're still live on the old thing.